back on the mound, and your leg kicks up and your hip swings in and your arm comes around like the sword of justice. Your wrist snaps loose the fastball of your dreams, a bolt of lightning streaking toward the plate, and for one split second, the universe is balanced. The catcher's fat mitt is the center of everything. That's the way we felt. We dazzled our opponents. They slunk back to the dugout, rubbing their eyes. We flew around the base paths, kicking up plumes of dust, outrunning the cheers of the crowd. We hit doubles to left field and right, triples into the corner. We smashed home runs over stadium walls, bouncing balls into the back streets of Decatur, Rockford, and Terre Haute, breaking windows and frightening stray dogs. It didn't matter that our uniforms were threadbare, that the bus had seen better days. You could still read Racine Robins in faded red paint, and everyone from Cedar Rapids to Syracuse knew what that meant. They might not let us into Yankee Stadium, but what's wrong with a good, honest Class B league? If we had our chance, we would have beat those pampered boys in pinstripes because we stood for something, and the crowds knew it. So they turned out for batting practice. They cheered us more than the home teams. They mobbed us for autographs. At the ballpark, on the street outside the cheap hotels where we bunked 4 to a room. "Hey, over here, will ya? Come on, it's for my sister. She's in the hospital. Mister, could you sign this bat for me, please, mister?" One rainy Saturday, we drove to a rally in Green Bay. The building trades were on strike. Wages had been cut 3 years in a row, and 40 cents an hour wouldn't pay your rent, even if you lived on potatoes and beans. The unions filled the park in the center of town. Not just locals, but plumbers from Oshkosh and Appleton, roofers from Waukesha, plasterers bussed in from Fond du Lac. In the cold drizzle, they wore flannels and stamped their feet to stay warm. They passed around jars of coffee, blew on their hands in steamy gusts. That's what counts for spring in Wisconsin. But even in the rain, they waved banners, they chanted, they cheered the speakers. We didn't mind the cold. The president of the pipefitters local had invited us personally, and we went to as many rallies as we could, because when we looked out at those faces, it lifted our hearts. All of that common purpose. We stood at the back of the platform while the union officers gave speeches. A carpenter's wife sang, "I dreamed I saw Joe Hill last night while an electrician played the banjo." Then we sent Ozzie Gadlin to the podium. Of course, Ozzie was a big man. Have you ever seen a little catcher? If you ask Ozzie how tall he was, he'd say 5 foot 18 inches. And that was no lie. He was as wide as a delivery truck, shoulders poured from cement, wrists so strong he could have made a living opening stuck jars. The stage had been nailed together that morning, and it shuddered as Ozzie walked to the front. "Friends," Ozzie said, and he stood like a mountain before the crowd. They started to clap, and the boys in the front row waved their baseball gloves and yelled Ozzie's name. The men in the back took up a cheer, and it spread through the park. Ozzie held up his hands for quiet, but the crowd kept on clapping because we were friends, and everyone